Hi, I'm xocean Alexander. This week, the moon is in their waxing phase. Currently, they just moved into Aries and are in the first quarter phase, and will move through Aries and then Taurus in the first quarter phase, and then moving to a waxing gibbous phase through Gemini and ending in Cancer of this week. And so during this transit, the moon will make a conjunction to Uranus in Taurus and then Jupiter in Gemini, and then ending on the 9th with a conjunction to Mars, which I will talk about at the very end of this video. Speaking of Mars, we are in the last 3 weeks of the Mars retrograde. Mars has been retrograde since December 5th and will finish their retrograde on February 24th. Currently, they are at 20 degrees of Cancer. I wanted to read just a little bit about Mars in this book that I wrote, which is called The Visionary of Vessels. It is a foundational tropical astrology resource for curious observers, and I made it in magazine form, so it would be really great for visual learners. Mars, the activist, rules passion, sexual desire, intentions, action, arousal, courageousness. What are you willing to fight for? What are you willing to defend? Archetypal energy is that of Angela Davis, Marsha P. Johnson, and Robert Mapplethorpe. How to work with Mars. Honor Mars on Tuesday and throughout Aries and Scorpio seasons by wearing red, copper, garnets, rubies, amethyst, and iron. Sweat, eat spicy foods, get your blood pumping, write letters to incarcerated folks, call your elected officials, volunteer with a group who is putting in the work. Make an altar with offerings of pomegranates, kidney beans, red meat, and cayenne. Mars goes retrograde every 26 months and will be retrograde for 2 to 3 months. So this retrograde is December 5th through February 24th. So almost 3 months. When Mars goes retrograde, it can give a feeling of lethargy, a feeling stagnant, because that Mars is that like energy of go. It's the energy of drive. It's the energy of passion. It rules sex and it rules fight, like, again, what are you willing to fight for? What are you willing to defend? Where lays your passions? And so in Mars, the passion, or the planet that is that movement, that drive, that energy is going retrograde, there can sometimes move inward and feel a sense of stagnancy and a feeling of like not being able to release. This can create feelings of like internal aggression or internal anger or passive aggressiveness. And then, at more extreme levels, it can create a lot of like toxic masculinity and misogyny, and people needing to like overcompensate to just show how angry they are. So great ways of releasing, again, are or remediating are sweating, getting out every single day and sweating, whether that is going to a sauna, whether that's working out, whether that's eating spicy foods, whether that's dancing, but like getting the energy out. And then also working with people and organizations that really align with like your passions. And in this week, Mars will make a square to Chiron and a trine to Saturn. Squares are tension points. They are where two planets are literally squaring off. A square are between two modalities, so between a fixed sign and a fixed sign, or a cardinal sign and a cardinal sign, or a mutable sign and a mutable. So it's always going to be between modality. And so it's seeing from the lens of fixed, or it's seeing from the lens of mutable, or it's seeing from the lens of cardinal. And Mars is in the sign of Cancer and making a square to Chiron, who is in Aries. So they're making a square through cardinal energy. Chiron is our wounded healer. Chiron is a centaur, both mythologically and then in the sky, not an asteroid, not a meteoroid, but is known as a centaur. So has the body of an asteroid and the orbit of a meteorite. And so Chiron, the wounded healer, when the wounded healing comes in tension, comes into a square with our passion and our drive, that can be a time when we really need to like look inwards. It's like coming out of like, what are our wounds and how are we working to help heal them? It is the wounded healer. So you're learning from a space of hurt. Simultaneously, Mars will be making a trine to Saturn. A trine is between element. In this case, it's between water and water. So Mars making a trine to Saturn, Mars, that passion, that drive, that energy, making a trine to Saturn, which is boundaries and structure, really gives you like a container to put that energy towards. So again, that could look like calling your representatives to tell them what you're willing to fight for. Like, what are your beliefs and how can you put that in action? It can also be going to a therapist, going to a couples therapist, and working through some of those feelings and hurt feelings through a container of safety. So really lovely transit between Mars trine Saturn. The last things that I want to talk about are the moon conjunction to Mars, which will happen on Sunday, February 9th. The moon is our sleep patterns. It's our emotions, how we relate to ourselves. It's our digestion. It's our ebb and flow. It changes sometimes moment by moment, but certainly throughout the day. So when the moon, our feelings, our emotions, comes in contact with Mars, which is passion and drive and energy, and Mars rules the blood, like literally rules the blood. So it's like bringing the blood to the face, or blood out, which is part of the reason why we want to get our blood pumping during like a Mars retrograde. So when Mars and the moon come together, that can bring up a lot of that energy, and it can sometimes create anxiety, acid reflux, some like palpitations of just like, you know, you've got that drive planet mixing with the planet of like sleep and emotions. So I just wanted to let you know, in case you're feeling a little bit of anxiety come Saturday, Sunday of next weekend, part of it is the transit, part of it is world politics, part of it is your own personal life. The moon and Mars come in contact every single month. It's a fast moving transit because the moon moves really quickly, and so we'll only spend a couple of hours, but I just wanted to let you know that we end the week with a Mars conjunction to the moon conjunction to Mars, and then on that day we also have a lovely transit, which is how I'm going to end, which is the sun making a sextile to Chiron. So again, Chiron is that wounded healer, and then our sun is our sense of self. It's our sense of agency. It's our sense of like who we are and how we shine and who we want to become and how we want to be known. And so when we have the sense of like who we are making a sextile to the wounded healer, that gives more like agency and like, okay, I'm actually taking steps to work through my hurt. This is a great time to celebrate where you've come from, where you're growing to, where you're growing from. Notice what hurts you've prevailed through, and how you want to grow from that. So again, this week we are moving through a waxing phase, going through Aries and Taurus and Gemini and Cancer. We will have a Mars conjunction to Uranus, a Mars conjunction to Jupiter, ending with that Mars conjunction to the moon conjunction to Mars, and then we've got that Mars square to Chiron this week, and that Mars trine to Jupiter. All right, I'll be in the spirituality chat room throughout the week, making little notes about different transits, and thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day.